We're live.
Welcome, folks. This is House Corrections and Institutions Committee. It is March 31st, Tuesday, March 31st. We'll quickly go through a few items here in our capital bill, trying to figure out who's going to report what section and how to report it. We're not going to meet too long today. I do also want to have a conversation with folks just to pick their brains and things of maybe what we should take up for testimony now that we have a little bit of a lull. I do have a quick meeting at 1:30. So we'll see what we can do. I can go to my meeting and then maybe come back if another conversation with you folks. I don't know. In reporting the bill, let's see. We should. See if I can. A little there.
Mary, do you just want to report the whole bill?
You do it, Sean.
I'll do part of it. I
already
said I
know
would
that.
do part of it.
You know what part you want?
Hang on.
Hold on. What? Yeah.
It's awful. I don't remember what sections I did last week. I think I did 2 and 3, but I'm not sure.
It's gonna be really hard in a way to explain this because what we're gonna do, we'll have the spreadsheets out, because that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
Not, the bill will be there, but it's gonna be really hard to follow the bill.
If you got bonded and cash or separate.
It's gonna be, until you get into, until you get into some of the clean water stuff possibly. And then we get into some reallocation. And then the cash section, and then there's policy towards the end. So what will happen, I will be the one that will give the introductory, and I will lay out how the spreadsheet is organized and what the different colors mean, what the gray columns mean,
Well, they'll get a copy of this, everybody.
Yep.
Got it.
Just like with the teeth though.
what the gray column will mean, and I may not even put the blue.
That make people ask questions they should ask.
Well, it's all covered in the gray column
Mhm.
anyway. And where the pale yellow and the bright yellow, what those indicate. And with the gray column total is, what the red column means, and then what those highlights.
Okay.
So I don't think there's gonna take that many people to report the bill. If we look on the front page of the spreadsheet, there are quite a few items here that are moving. One person maybe could take care of the whole front sheet of the spreadsheet.
So they'll go 2, 3, and 4.
I'm happy to do that unless somebody else has a dying desire to do so.
No, go for it, Joe.
You wanna do that, Joe?
Sections 2 through 4.
Yeah, but there's gonna be some discussion, there's gonna have to be some background on some of this. Not just talk about the money. There's gonna need to be background. There's gonna need to be background in terms of 120 State Street, why we cut that million.
Yep, I can explain that.
There's gonna need to be, background on
3 acre maybe. Somebody might get weird about that.
major maintenance, what do we do, major maintenance, we kept that, then we added that,
But I mean, for the most part, if something was reduced, it's because the project wasn't moving forward. Or because there was a lot of money left over from previous
So it's a little more complicated than that. 120 State Street is based on waiting for FEMA.
Correct. So it's not moving forward.
Well, it is moving forward.
We don't know, but we don't know when, and you don't know how either.
But there's also previous money that's been appropriated.
But 120 State Street, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but that will plausibly be part of a bigger HVAC project that encompasses more than one building.
We're waiting for FEMA, and we've had money in the past for
Correct.
this. The door controls is connected to door control in St. Albans. No, St. John. The boiler is part of, there's more money that's been appropriated in the past. And this is connected to moving the ponds in the road. So that's why we cut it by $1 million, because then there's money from the previous appropriations for that. I can get you those dollar amounts too for that, so that people know there's already money in the pot. The same thing with the DCF Youth Stabilization Facility. Have to give Billy talk a little bit about that, where we are. There's an RFP that's out. BGS is negotiating with a developer to design build. Wi-Fi, and then the replacement cleans facilities. We've put in money and we want to make sure this gets built. It's going to be very expensive, so we're starting to put money aside for it. We need to get some of the background on some of these.
Okay.
We give them some of the background, so they're not so liable to give questions, ask questions when they see 2 million cut by $1 million, or another 2 million cut by $1 million, or 2.7 cut by 2 million. It's those going to be flags to ask questions.
Yeah.
So then the next page is what if, Joe, you did section 2 and 3, and then section 4, 5, and 6, that's where your changes are. You would be willing to do 4, 5, and 6. And then we can do A and R and water together.
I'll do 4 or 5.
And we're gonna do 4, 5, and 6.
And then you'll do the last one. All right, great.
So Joe will do 2 and 3. John will do 4. Would be a lot of deals.
Why not have Joe do 4?
4, 5, and 6.
I think it much matters who does 4. I mean, you have a little change in road size marker.
Right, okay.
I'm just thinking of the flow because Bill wants to do 9 and 10.
Okay, so I'm doing 4 and 5?
4, 5, and 6.
And 6. Okay,
9 and 10 as well.
I mean, 5 has absolutely no changes.
Yeah, you don't even have to talk about it. You don't even, for UVM and you want in the state policy. Just
So-
about it. but-
Connor all over 7, 8, 9.
I'm coming off the bench. If
No,
you guys,
no, wait a minute. I don't have to do anything for military. And we really don't have to do anything unless somebody asks questions. And 13. Troy, you did all the reallocations and stuff. Would you be willing to do 13, 14, and then the reallocations bonded in cash?
Remind me what 13 and 14 are?
13 is public safety with the urban rescue facility. And then judiciary is the Essex County with their water system,
Right,
finishing up White River Junction Courthouse and the Newport Courthouse, which we
Right.
zeroed out.
yeah, happy to do that.
Zeroed out the cash. We kept in the bond. Right? Yeah. And then, and then we got the Historical Society, 16. Climate control,
Yeah. Let's preserve the artifact, not the building.
Detroit, that would be, yeah.
You asked me about that. The member asked me about that,
I saw it.
about that item.
Which one?
Then the reallocation.
The climate control stuff in the society.
Yes.
Was it? Oh, because it came up in the appropriations bill. That's what he asked. Mike Hoyt asked me.
And then
You know
what?
what, I was gonna say, I feel like that's a lot.
It's not much.
Well, Mike, thank you for asking about, that. I can
Summarizing
actually
the
answer.
allocations. Just summarize that real quick.
Interesting.
That's fine.
Actually, before it was explained to us, I flagged it. At the end, it said it. But then it makes sense.
And what is in the pale is what the pale color is what the administration proposed. And what's in highlight, yellow highlights what we put in.
I took sections. If you want sections, you get on my sections.
So then,
Thanks.
Want to be the section hog.
what you could do, Will, is when you're talking about the drinking water revolving loan fund,
Mhm.
you could go to the policy part of the bill, which is section 10 and 11. A big chunk. Yeah, 10 and 11. So you could talk about that when you do your. Got a big chunk, but it's all connected.
Sorry to finish what you said about drinking water. You said when I'm.
Well, when you do the drinking water revolving loan
Okay.
fund. Go to the policy section, page 14, line section 10, and also section 11, because that was the language we put in for eligible mobile home park systems, which is really your
Yep,
manufactured
that's-
homes, and you're extending the loan payments. Length of time.
I would like to get one of those negative 3% loans that they speak of.
That they speak of, that are spoken of.
Yes. They are spoken of.
I see what you're saying.
Um.
Use it for.
So we have to, I'm gonna have to work with you on. Who's doing the bets?
I am,
I'm
that's
gonna
me.
work with you because we're moving money around here
Yeah,
a lot, and we're gonna have to explain that.
yeah. I'm happy to work with you on it. And then the overhaul, with the
So
elevator.
if folks can go to the bill,
Page.
that's what I'm looking at.
I mean, it's,
Section 19 is where we authorize the cash for these projects. And then we've got to give a nod to section 19. And so the last person to speak to give a nod is section 19. Or section 9, I'm sorry,
I was going to say there's
Section
no
nine.
19 on there.
it's section 9 of the bill. Page 10.
Yeah.
That's where the cash fund starts.
Mhm.
But somebody can give a nod to section 9. Will is doing 10 and 11. So then we pick up on section 12, which is page 17, which allows historic preservation to go out for solicit grants, gifts.
That's me.
Yep, you could do that.
Well, it's in my section,
Yep, you can do
so
that, yeah. So you can mention that. in the
No, you're not
policy.
mentioning any particular project, are you?
Just
No.
Bennington
No,
Power.
no.
No, Mary. And,
So
and
Mary
that's,
was warning me about.
and furthermore, that's not how the authorization is worded anyway. It could be any state project.
Oh, I
But she knows that.
I know that.
She doesn't
Just
wanna-
make
No, I was not gonna be,
Money used as an example.
right,
So, right, so then it would be section 9, somebody would have to give a nod to.
Like if somebody wanted to donate to paint the Chester Arts Building.
And
Right,
then
right.
section 13, which is the lease thing with the forests and parks and Vermont huts. Section 14, which is the land transfer down the Southern State Facility. And 15, which repeals previous language for them to do the transfer. Section 16, which is language that's also in the books. Try to get DCF funding. And then section 17. Wi-Fi installation. Maybe, Joe, you could refer to section 17 when you do your section 3.
Refer to, yep, refer to section 17, the Wi-Fi.
Well, who wants to do cleanup on those last sections? Be the end of the report. Be the end of the report. You have to give a nod to explain the cash fund, section 9. This is a policy in the bill. And then section 9, section 12. It talks about not 12, 13, which is the lease, forests and parks. 14 and 15 is the transfer of land at the Springfield Correctional Facility. And 16 is the high-end system of facilities for youth, which is gonna be on hold until the DCF comes up with the money.
who's doing 7, 8, and 9?
7, 8, and 9 are the reallocations.
Right, but,
Troy,
Troy's doing that.
yeah, he doesn't have to do it in the bill, he just does it on a spreadsheet.
Okay,
To answer your question, as far as back cleaning up. I prefer to see the members do it, but if nobody volunteers, I'll do it.
come on, waiter, step up.
I'm happy not to report, but
Whoever you wanna do it, James?
I'll do it if neither anybody else that wants to.
I would love to, but I never am sure my
Right.
voice.
I
You know,
guess we can go over it, not today when my head feels better.
Yep. So you would be doing section 9. Your screens. And then section.
you wanted to do anything.
Is there a Muffin Man section?
The Veterans Home,
Taken.
Is he traveling down a certain lane?
You don't want to know about that lane.
the Muffin Man likes the Veterans Home, so he can be the Muffin Man for the sewer
Do you want
system.
to talk?
Well, he's joking.
Because you can if you
No,
want.
I can consult on the Muffin Man.
He's joking.
Muffin consultant.
Sorry, 13, 14.
He's saying Muffin.
14 and 15 are together. 16. And then.
So 10
then you
was
finish up with
James?
16. And then you give the committee vote. And that ends the report.
So who were,
Which was 10-0.
what were the last ones and who's doing it?
Okay, James is doing section 9. Section
13, 14, 15, 16.
13, 14, 15, 16. And then the committee vote. 9, no, 10, 1, 0, it's 10,
10-0.
0, 1.
I hope that's the right.
10, 0.
That's my memory tells me. And
Okay,
we ask for your support.
It was 10-0-1.
And then you say I yield.
You can sit there, not yet.
Just gotta get that in.
Don't be messing with me. I already asked that question. I won't remember.
Connor, Brian, and I will be the cheerleaders on the side.
Was the Gatorade ready for you?
Beth, this won't be
There we go.
next week.
I think it's gonna be Tuesday. I was just talking
Right.
to, I was just talking to the chair of the probes. And I go down to a probes on Thursday morning.
Mhm.
So if they voted out on Thursday, it's on notice Friday, it's up on Tuesday,
Yeah.
which is fine. Friday, we're not gonna work in the afternoon. We're done at 12. Okay, it's always been what I've done. It's
Good
Good Friday, it's Good Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I've always done that. So we always did in the past. The legislature would close down at 12 o'clock, but they don't do that. But, I do that. in the
When I was a kid, we used to close the dealership for a couple hours, but then we reopened.
Yeah.
Not a good time to get your car worked on.
You reopen.
Too many jelly beans, Will?
Want to get in before noon that day.
So I just, I just want to let the committee know, Friday afternoons. We're done on the floor, and there may be something happening here, and we'll work till 12 o'clock. I also want to spend a little bit of time just kind of hearing from the committee. We're gonna have some lull right now, it's a downtime for us to catch up on some of the things that we've talked about that need a little bit more work that we're going to get to, that possibly we could wait till one of our bills gets worked on a little bit in the Senate. We could ask them to put an amendment on. One thing that we did not do much work on due to timing was in the gender equity bill about medical care. We could schedule more testimony on that, just to see if it gives us any further direction in terms of what we might be able to offer to Senate Institutions Committee to consider. I don't know if they're gonna work on the bill or not. Gina is down there right now, giving testimony. And, I don't know if folks would be interested in trying to schedule WellPath and DOC in for further conversations on this. So why don't we see what their schedule is this week? And I don't think we have much on the floor this week either, so we would and the floor is meeting at 1 o'clock, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Tomorrow, my devotion, don't miss it.
On your birthday.
And it's your birthday. So we would have tomorrow afternoon. Probably around 2:45, 2:45. And Thursday afternoon, 2:45, and we'd have all Thursday morning. We'd have Friday morning after the floor. So that would be one thing.
So tomorrow morning, what time are we starting?
8:30, because we've got BGS coming in to talk about the cash reallocations, because we
Okay.
really didn't do much background.
Very well.
And we're trying to we're gonna be dealing pretty heavily with the forensic unit within a facility, within a correctional facility. That's gonna be a real heavy lift. I'm trying to get the budget council in first to give us the background in terms of forensic and what we mean by fence. So that we have an understanding of what that terminology means. And how it gets played out in the world. And how someone could be going through a criminal, be charged with a criminal charge, and they're sent to court, of course they go to court for an arraignment. And the judge will order a competency evaluation. So right now, they're held at the state hospital, I believe. Sometimes they may be held in corrections. Sometimes there's just a mental health evaluation. Sometimes there's an evaluation to see if the person is insane at the time of the crime. And all of that plays out in the court system. But the question is, where is the person held? When it's going through that evaluation. And then if they gain competence, and that's proven, they're in the state hospital, are they released back to the community? And what's the notification process then? So there's so many layers to this. So I really want to get much counsel to weigh in to just explain this before we get into the nuts and bolts of the bill. So people understand what
Yeah, that was,
we're talking
Day
about
of
when we
this-
say forensic facility and who's gonna be held there.
that was one of the primary topics in Vermont edition this past week.
And so what day are we looking?
We're trying to get people, we're trying to organize that right now. The first person will be Eric Fitzpatrick to come in to talk us through. We're trying to get,
He wants to come to a few at 2-ish if you're done.
we tied up in two-ish.
Or whenever you're done.
Because I bumped off by 1:30 because I knew we wanted more conversations, so I'm gonna be kind of two-ish. Maybe quarter of two-ish. Or 10 of two-ish. Or 2:30-ish.
It could be 2:45-ish.
No, let them know. Okay. And we need somebody from Department of Mental Health after this, and then the bill is being debated right now, probably tomorrow. Read your Senate calendar. It's S-193. It came out of Senate Judiciary.
How did it come out of Senate Judiciary?
4-1. Or in favor, one opposed, but there's an amendment that strikes some controversial parts. It's in your Senate calendar of today. And the amendment is from Senator Lyons, who's Chair of Human Services. Health and Welfare. Health and Welfare. 3 members of the Senate Institutions Committee, Senator Harrison, Senator Major, and Senator Benson. As well as Senator Cummings and Senator Morley. And I think the Senator Morley is on Health and Welfare, with Senator Lyons, and
And he is, yeah,
Senator Buick. Senator Cummings.
I was going to ask, was he on the perps as well?
Morley? I don't think so. No. So they've really changed a lot of this, particularly that pertains around corrections. Corrections is really involved in this. It's gonna be a real heavy lift. So I would suggest when the bill comes over, I don't know what committee it will be in, if it'll be in our committee, or if it'll be in judiciary. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be controversial, and it's gonna be emotional. So what other work, what other things did we have low hanging fruit at all?
Can I ask you a question? Do bills ever get assigned to 2 committees at
No.
once? Only one,
Only one. Doesn't mean the other committee won't be working on it,
right,
but there's only one committee that has possession of it.
possession,
And then what you can make the agreement is you do your work on your part and then physically move the bill to the other. committee. Or you have an agreement that both committees are working on it simultaneously, but it's housed in one committee. It's either way.
officially announced.
That's how those conversations go. So Martin and I have not spoken. We've been busy with other things, so we haven't spoken. So I don't know where it's gonna land. I don't think anybody knows at this point where it's gonna land. In the Senate, it landed in judiciary. But institutions committee there takes care of corrections, but they don't have enough background on corrections. So maybe that's why it was sent to judiciary. I don't know, but it's also gonna involve BGS. Because there's one part in there. There is one part in there that talks about. This is in the amendment. Commissioner of Corrections would establish and operate a locked, secure forensic facility for the secure evaluation, treatment, and care of individuals who are transferred pursuant to the particular section for forensic folks. The forensic facility shall be designed and operated in a manner that supports a therapeutic, recovery-oriented, and trauma-informed environment comparable to a community-based residential treatment setting while maintaining appropriate levels of safety and security. So that tells me where's BGS in this? By reading that. And BGS is on this. There's rulemaking, they have to come back and report to our committees. It's gotta be pretty involved.
So this is being envisioned within one current facility, right?
Yes.
And this is for men and women, right? Yeah, okay.
And they do address the amendment that Senator Lyons is coming out. Provide for the safe housing, this is all part of what the facility needs to look at. Provide for the safe housing and management of persons, including the ability to separate the population by sex or gender. And to otherwise address clinical, safety, or operational considerations as appropriate, including the possible operation of multiple facilities, which then means Chittenden for the women.
So we're then doing this twice, not just once.
Because
Sounds like,
originally we talked about having the mental health hospital in Berlin do it, and then they were talking about a different entrance so that folks were now coming in. But we've had some of these discussions.
Well, we also talked about the secure residential.
Right.
And then when we brought them back in last year, they didn't say the word forensic.
Right.
Because once you use the word forensic, you lose Medicaid.
That's right.
So they're still getting Medicaid on this? It's,
You're not getting Medicaid.
No,
for
no.
this.
like,
But they don't want to cross pollinate.
But when it was up in your committee, the intent was just before you new guys came on, you were here. They were gonna convert 6 beds, something like
We have
that,
6 beds.
up at the secure residential, which is up in Essex.
Mhm.
There's 16 mental health beds there, so step down from the state hospital. They were gonna, I think it was around 6 beds, it would be used for forensic folks. And we worked with BGS to do renovations there. So we could meet the standards.
Yep.
Then we had Department of Mental Health in here last year to give us an update. They wouldn't say the word forensic. Because if you do that, you lose Medicaid funding.
That's right.
That's why they want to put it.
well, you're talking about a rather small population.
It is a small population.
So what corrections then would have to do is employ a clinical services director to oversee all forensic, clinical, and competency restoration services, implement staff qualifications, licensure, training, supervision requirements, ensure that a registered nurse licensed under certain part of law is available to provide care to transferred persons 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is all under corrections. And that the Commissioner of Corrections would ensure the persons receive clinically appropriate assessment and treatment plan.
That's,
So there's a lot of pressure here on DOC.
well, yeah, and
And
plus
that's in our bailiwick, so we got a lot of work.
you'd be holding somebody potentially indefinitely in a correctional
Yep.
facility who neither detained or sentenced.
They've been charged. They may not be competent to stand
Well,
trial.
they're not. That's why they're there.
Well, but no, they have to be evaluated. They could
Or
gain
being
competency.
evaluated.
They could gain competency.
And some have been deemed that, and then have gone out and murdered someone.
Well, that's when they were held at the state hospital, because in the mental health world, and this is the other piece we'll have to understand. In the mental health world, which is Katie Quinn, is that when a person is held at the state hospital for evaluation. Or held at the state hospital, anyway, involuntary, you don't get to the state hospital voluntarily.
No.
It's involuntarily, it's through a court order regardless. When you are released, that's not public knowledge. It's all protected. When you're released from corrections, it's public.
Should that change?
You're dealing with federal.
That's a federal law.
Well, yeah, it'd be like giving somebody your medical records.
You're dealing with federal.
Yeah. But.
So we're gonna get
I hear
into a
you.
lot of little nuances.
Sounds like there are a lot of conversations and testimony there.
Yes.
I had a little bit of a hard
That's
time.
possible.
If someone
It's
needs
a
to go
complicated
before
issue.
a judge to be determined whether they're competent or not. Obviously, they've something that brought them in to be
Well, if there's a criminal charge,
charged.
if it's criminal charge,
Right.
they go to court at
Right.
arraignment. And the judge can order then for a competency test. If the defense is saying the person's not competent, the stand trial.
Right.
And that's where they get shipped to the state hospital. Now, there could be a person, regular person like you and I, having a severe mental health breakdown, mental health crisis, refusing help. The family can go to court to ask that the person be involuntarily held, hospitalized, and they will be hospitalized. They're not criminally charged. That's totally separate. That's not considered forensic. It's totally separate.
And that's where I misunderstood. I thought you said they had been charged, but they have not
To be
necessarily.
forensic, you have to be charged.
Okay, but then I thought I heard you say when they're released, it's sealed so
If
no
they-
one knows.
If they, in the mental health world, if they've gained competency and are stabilized, they could be released from the state hospital. And due to HIPAA and all the laws around mental health, that is not public information.
Right,
We've worked on that upstairs,
but
right?
they've been charged. So what would be the situation that they would release someone who,
Because maybe they've been deemed competent, and maybe they don't have to be detained in the correctional facility. It's not all situations, so there's back and forth, but sometimes they are held only at the state hospital.
My advice would be, there's two things you can do. Obviously, some of it's gonna come out in testimony because it is complicated. It's full,
Very
I'm gonna ask those
complicated.
questions, the pros. But you can also, I know Gina's not here, so she won't get mad at me. Look into it on the internet and don't think everything is there but look into what it means. And get an idea that's more than just the TV shows. And it will explain a little bit. I'm not up to speed. It's been a couple years since I dealt with it. So I don't want to give you perfect examples. I'm happy to in a day or two after I can go and research too. But it's something to just take an hour or something and just, look it up. Watch a YouTube video. Depends on where it's from. You're smart, so you know which ones to go to. And just get a basis. It'll help everybody that doesn't know what it is. Have it just a baseline so you know where we're starting. It's not gonna make an expert.
Also, Virginia has the state, I believe now, it does not have one. And I'm
Right.
not someone that always wants to just get on the bandwagon to be like everyone else. But I think there is a need, and there's been some very specific cases that really illustrate the need. It's for their safety as well as for the public safety.
The question is, that we're gonna be fixed. Is the appropriate setting to
Oh,
hold
I
someone
understand, I
in a
understand that.
correctional facility?
And I've got that.
If so, what pressure does that put on DOC's budget? Because they're not gonna be able to handle it right now. And what pressure does that put on the facilities
Right.
and population moving incarcerated folks? Because you're gonna have to separate the populations. You're gonna have to hire different staff. You're gonna have to beef up your well path contract to bring in the appropriate folks. So there's a lot of financial implications to the Department of Corrections if you're gonna use Department of Corrections as the place where, like, where the
Yeah.
facility's going to be.
And for new people, I mean, Alice and Mary have been here a lot longer than I have, but I've been here 8 years. It's been an issue the whole time I've been here. So it's not
It's not
something
a
that's,
new issue,
it's
it's
not
what's
new.
new.
and it's not solid because it's not easy.
Well, there's a morality issue there too.
There is a lot of issues.
And I'm not even weighing in, but there certainly is one.
Right. So we're gonna have our work cut out, we're gonna do our work, I don't know where it's gonna lead us. It's gonna be a steep learning curve for all of us here. And we have to balance out what we know about corrections, this is gonna put a lot of pressure on DOC, and their budget is not gonna be able to absorb this, they'll tell you it is.
So what is it you've said that we're gonna have DOC in to discuss? It's gonna be the forensic facility and it's gonna be sort of healthcare? Are those the
The
two?
well path with the gender equity,
Yeah. Cause I guess just generally, and this is sort of a blob of an issue or a blob of a question, but we've got a new commissioner. We have at the women's facility, a new superintendent. I'm curious generally how things are going, there's some whisperings. And also wondering how things worked out with the Vermont Asylum Assistance Project and et cetera, et cetera. Like, do we get to do some oversight in what we're doing too?
the asylum thing, we need some more conversations with some folks, and that kind of got put off because we're so busy the last 2.5 weeks.
A little bit, yeah.
So we've got to follow up a little bit on that MOU. That's gonna be some conversations that need to occur first, but before we do something. Would you want to get in the new superintendent of the women's facility to testify?
I'd be interested to hear how things are going.
Yeah. Why don't we try to set that up?
Clarify
Should that be?
or what he said.
Yes,
So aren't they suing the state, or is there, wasn't there a news article about the DOC and asylums?
I do not know.
I thought there
it's
was.
in the wall.
I think it was.
It wasn't the suit, it was just an article, but
Yeah.
it's been so while.
But is the,
So we'll do that. Is there any interest in taking, I mean, we've got some wall, is there any interest in doing like a few field trips?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
One thing we talked about was the Waterbury Dam,
Yep.
which would be helpful. I think it'd be really good to go to a correctional.
Yeah.
Yes. In a men's, not a women's.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the two that really come to mind, and they're at opposite ends of the state, is St. Albans and Springfield.
Springfield.
Yeah. Of course, Newport, the Springfield from here is 90 miles.
Oh, there's nobody here from Newport.
It's harder. I mean, they're all kind of, but what you have at St. Albans is you got the license plate shop there. And this is where you're holding a lot of detainees. We've got work at the booking area, and you're holding a lot of the federal marshals and ICE up there. In Springfield, you've got a lot of mental health issues there. You've got the largest infirmary. You also have no work program there whatsoever. And you've got the geriatric unit as well, so it's a whole different population than what you have up in St. Albans.
And they're
You can do
very,
both, if people are interested, but it's gonna be a haul either way.
they're very different,
They're
because
very
like
different.
I wanna go to Springfield because I've been to Northwest and I'm like.
And the campus is designed very different.
Right, and I've never been to your place, which even if it's not great, I don't know what it looks like. Ours is dark and dingy. You're gonna get a very specific view of,
We can do
facility.
both.
I'd like to,
We
but
can
I
do
think it
both.
would be important.
because they're very different, is my point.
Yes,
Should we at least prioritize St. Albans? Cause I think that's more.
It's fine with me, I don't care. But, so then the question is, do you do St. Albans? It's an all-day thing. It's an all-day thing. You really can't do it on a Tuesday or Tuesday or Friday, because half the committee lives in one section of the state and the other half lives in the other.
Do it on Thursday.
So you do it on
Wednesday
Wednesday.
or
and Thursday.
Thursday.
And the nice thing, St. Albans is only an hour drive,
Well, Springfield
Here's
from
the-
here is an hour and 15
15.
minutes.
so it's not.
It's all straight interstate. interstate, but, because it's right there by the exit in Springfield, you get to see Ocho's Pits. But it's right, it's right there.
You
at the
sold me.
exit.
Can we stop there for?
We'll stop and see John. We'll stop. and
That's right,
see-
unearth some history.
We'll stop and see
Yeah.
John. Yes.
Chuck could meet us there.
Oh, we got Connor. We don't need you.
No.
No, I know.
Say hi to John.
No, definitely have John there, but Connor.
So those are three things we
Yeah.
could do.
I have three ideas for testimonies that aren't time sensitive
Yeah.
to plug in.
Art.
Aren't,
Yeah, well,
sometimes you just need to fill gaps at the end of the session. One, the Montpelier Flood Commission was interested in coming in and reporting on the $100,000 that we gave them in the capital bill last year. They've got some of the designs back on the pit study there that went into this, so that ties into a lot of other capital complex related
Yeah.
stuff and could be a real sneak preview for.
that 100K came out of a pros, right?
Well, they said, it made it look like I was trying to get pork there because Perchik threw it in the capital bill at the end there, then it came back over here with it. Yeah,
Little pork's like.
Is that the cap?
yeah, it went in the capital bill at the end. Like at the very end,
Why isn't it on our spreadsheet?
well, because the money's there and gone, yeah.
No, but it's, the list would be on our.
Probably should be on the spreadsheet, yeah.
Well, no,
It's gotta be. It's gotta be on
because
the
it's the amended
spreadsheet.
version.
Yeah, it
You
was
sure
just,
it didn't get kicked over or pros?
maybe it went back. I mean, it would have been cash, so,
Be done with the 100.
but I actually still think that would have been on our spreadsheet, yeah.
That's the perfect time, Casey,
Yeah.
and then you had to bring it up.
I know, he was indicted himself.
Telltale.
Yeah, ask Scott.
Yeah, I'll take that down. I mean, the money's already out the door, so. And then my other two suggestions were, I'd love to get somebody in from Core Civic at some point.
Yeah.
Like everything we're talking about touches them, like the transgender care, the commissary stuff, telecommunications, general healthcare down there. I have a lot of questions on. I know we've had probably Corrections Corporation of America folks come in before they changed the name. But if we could get somebody regionally in there.
Well, we got someone last year, didn't we?
I didn't know if we did. I know we were.
That guy who was down there, he went, oh, he's from,
He's from Vermont.
but he's a
Yeah,
Vermont
he was-
guy.
he was-
Okay, that's right, sorry, that's right.
And
Yeah,
then my third, I had a really interesting presentation that I thought that could benefit the committee. The Irish caucus all meets together there. Sean was on one of the trips. There's a group called Allison. They're a nonprofit international education company that wouldn't look to replace like a CCV in corrections, but they offer diplomas and certificates for over 6,000 different courses there. They've started a partnership with West Virginia. It's essentially free with the exception of like the startup cost there. And it looks like they're just doing some great stuff. I was really interested when I heard the presentation. It's about a half an hour.
So if you could give the contact information for that.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Just-
That sounds great.
Yeah, I think as we're looking at the Wi-Fi and everything, they can do it without the Wi-Fi, but obviously if they have the Wi-Fi, they can do a lot in a prison.
What was the Irish guy? Are they an Irish company?
They're an Irish company. So they give a good presentation.
Oh, you bet.
And then if you can also,
and give
we
us
will
at
have
the
to get a
end.
contact for Core Civic through DOC.
Yeah.
And then the flood commission will be.
John Copans is ready to roll, yeah, whenever you want him. I can connect you on that
Yeah.
stuff, Tate.
And it'd be great if we can get any of these people in this week.
Yes,
I know we could, yeah.
I can be able to
For
get John Copen.
The healthcare piece, 550, is there anything specific, or you just want to get really dive back into it?
I wanna dive back into it.
Okay.
For well path.
Yeah.
On how they would. We gotta refresh our own memory. Is there anything else? So we need to work with DOC for trips to the two facilities. And it might be better to do that sooner rather than later. Because we got some free time, when we're not gonna have so much on the floor, but that's the time to do it.
For the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. And at the Waterbury Dam, that would be Ben Green,
That'd be awesome.
and that would be nice to do on a nice spring day.
Mhm.
Someone gets to dress for that too.
Yeah, you gotta dress
The
for it.
waiters.
You gotta dress grubby.
Yeah, for the dam, especially if we're gonna go down and see like into this,
You
like,
gotta wear your jeans
yeah,
and you gotta wear different shoes.
yeah.
Heels don't work.
Get boots and bring a shovel. Only kidding.
That's why I live, that's why I live at home.
Henry,
Shovel.
your mind.
People won't recognize me if they saw me at home. John took a picture of me once, a few weekends ago, hanging my clothes out on a Sunday morning. He says, I'm gonna show that to your committee. I said, you better not.
John, we're coming down to the prison, have the picture ready.
Exactly.
I looked terrible. I was wearing my jammies.
It's okay.
The big boots. It didn't fit me. Wear his boots.
That's
I
okay.
saw by the clothesline hanging clothes.
And none of us do that.
No, with snow
Yeah.
on the ground.
All good.
So that gives you something to work with too, right? And
He has a little schedule already.
and so anything else before we end up for the day?
No.
Okey-dokey, we are done for the day. Back here at 8:30 tomorrow morning.